2 of the Pickle Planet podcast.
Holy, am I ever excited to get back to work.
It's fantastic. We took the summer off, and now we are back, and we have all of our guests lined up in our heads anyway.
Yes.
For the first half of this season. And we are so excited for this. Like, it's just become such a fun project, way bigger than I think either of us realized when we started talking about it last year.
Oh my gosh, yeah, unbelievable. We have so many parenting tips and tricks coming our way, and it's not all parenting too. We're going to talk about, just you being you sometimes too.
Mm-hmm. I know we've got quite a few viewers and listeners that, don't necessarily have kids at home, and they find lots to take away from the podcast. So we're very excited that you're here, whether you're listening or you're watching, because we're on Rogers TV, we're on Apple, we're on iTunes, which is the same thing. We're on Spotify, we're on the web. You can find us pretty much
anywhere. That's right. And if you
apparently we finish each other's sentences now.
If you have any ideas for us too, make sure you always let us know, because we love taking you up on your ideas. One of your ideas actually is why we're talking with Cindy Cormier today. Cindy is back for the second time on our podcast. She is of Nirvana Nutrition. She creates some absolutely amazing foods.
My goodness, I am going to be starving by the time we're done talking today. And I was like drooling, driving here, thinking about all the things that Cindy makes.
Yeah, it's so good. But you wanted us to talk about lunches and picky eaters, and school just got back in session. We just started, week 3, I guess?
Are we even on week 3
yet?
I don't know. All I know is I'm so far behind everything in life, including being able to make lunches for the kids. Like, that is, now, to be fair, my husband usually does more of the lunches, and we're getting the kids more involved, so it's not really my task so much. But part of the reason it's not my task is because I'm so bad at it.
Yeah.
Well, I hate being in the kitchen.
My kids got cold pizza today, so if that makes you feel any better. It's like, yes, let's get pizza for supper so I don't have to make lunch tomorrow.
Yeah. So I'm very, very excited to have Cindy here to share some tips, share some recipes, and just kind of get my head back in the right space of like, I need to put a little bit more effort in.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for inviting me back.
Anytime. Trust us.
Super excited to be here. I still have a hard time, believing that people want to hear what I have to say. But it's kind of nice. Like you said, getting the kids involved is going to be really important when you're getting lunches and stuff ready. And I know it's kind of hard for a lot of people because of the restrictions that are kind of set in place. I've done a little bit of research to kind of find out what is and isn't allowed in the school system, and I'm not 100% sure with all the restrictions for the Anglophone District 2, but I've heard that for the Francophone, a lot of the restrictions have been lifted, so nuts are primarily the only thing that they really kind of have to eliminate, but they're allowed to have back the eggs, and I think shellfish are allowed back in, not that kids would probably be
not a whole lot of lobster going to school.
I was the kid who took lobster to school. I mean, my classmates were not so impressed with me, but I loved it.
But regardless, still trying to find those, healthy, balanced, nutritious, easy ideas to kind of bring into the school system. I sent out a message on Facebook, and I asked moms, dads, what do your kids gravitate to? What do they like? And a lot of it came back as fun, bite size, easy to eat, easy, no heat, no, if cooler's okay to an extent, but kind of finding what is fitting to go in that. So the standard would be the chopped fruit and chopped veggies. Everybody kind of knows that. But over and above that, what I was kind of thinking of is little things where you can make a dessert, but then hide more nutritious stuff into it. So, like I was telling you guys earlier, I had planned on bringing some black bean brownies for us to sample, because black beans it's a protein, it's a fiber, it's going to keep the kid full, it's not going to give them that crash, so if you can make brownies out of it by adding a little bit of, raw honey or a little bit of maple syrup to it to sweeten it up, it's going to be that morning snack that the kid's going to be able to eat, and you can make them in little muffin tins, so they're bite-sized.
And kids are excited because they're getting a brownie.
And they think they're getting dessert, but little do they know. Mom's like, that's nutritious.
Yeah. See, and that's a problem that I have making stuff at home, because my kids don't have allergies to nuts.
Right.
I just usually make things with nuts in it, and then they want to take it to school and they can't, which is totally understandable. But I think going back to that, most schools are by classroom now. It's like your allergies are by
Yes.
classroom. Nuts are an all around.
Nuts are usually a school-wide, and then class by class, you might have certain restrictions.
Right.
Depending on whether a child in that classroom has another allergy.
Yeah.
Like I know there are some people out there who have really strong allergies to certain fruits even.
Mm-hmm.
So you might end up in a classroom where, you can't send cut up strawberries
Right.
and, pineapple and things like that. But that's going to be a class by class thing. So
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
that you got to live with.
You got to live with, yeah.
It's one of those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So I have a
bananas.
question about the black bean brownies.
Yes.
Because that is one recipe that I have tried. And
Yes.
I've had like nominal success with it in terms of making it and having 2 of my 3 children eat it and
Oh.
request it.
Wow, not bad.
That's pretty
That's
good.
good odds.
That's really good in our house. What are your tips for actually to make it? Because I'm going to guess that a lot of people maybe have tried this or they've stayed away
Right.
because they're like, how do you make the beans actually?
Taste.
Well, yeah, and
Not
how
like
do you
beans.
Not like beans, yeah.
how do you mush them up enough? That's my very technical
It's-
term there. You
yeah.
can see my hands go. How do you mush them up enough that it's not like eating beans?
You're not having chunks of.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not like chili.
Yeah,
in
because
a
I'm not sure.
brownie.
I'm not sure I've mastered
Right,
that part of
right.
the recipe yet.
Blender, food processor. You don't do it by hand because
Okay.
you'll never get it mashed enough. So basically, like what I did yesterday is I've got a high-speed blender. So I put the bean, I soak I don't buy the canned beans. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but be careful. Make sure you're getting the BPA ones, and read the ingredients. Make sure there isn't anything added to it.
Maybe the BPA free.
Get the BPA
Yeah.
ones if you can. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Don't go for the extra BPA. guys.
No. But it's really easy to just buy the dried beans and you just soak them in water for at least 8 hours overnight, and then you boil them for about an hour, and then they're fresh and you know where they came from, and they're just it's less processed. But if you're in a pinch and you gotta make them straight away,
And you buy the case of them.
you buy them from if you go to Costco,
Yes.
you get the case.
I have one of those cases.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just rinse them really, really well.
Okay.
Right. So you just want to get all that off of it. Throw it all into a blender, all into a food processor, and then what I personally do is I put on all the liquid ingredients, and then just let it go, let it puree, and it looks like a cake batter, and it kind of, you know what I mean, gets it really. If you're blessed enough to have like a Blendtec or a Vitamix, those will pulverize it. But I know not everyone has
$500
$500
yeah,
to
Yeah,
drop
I've got
on
some
one.
$15 little choppy thing that I
Like
bought
the
at a
Magic
department
Bullet
store.
or
Yeah,
the
Magic Bullet. I think
Ninja.
the Magic
Yeah.
Bullet
Bullet,
will probably
yeah.
be better than the other thing that I've used. in the
Yeah,
past.
yeah. So
That's
mix
the
them
next
with the
step.
liquid and let it go, and it gets it really pasty and soupy, and then you can kind of add everything else to it. And it's almost like a cake batter, but I mean, taste it as you go, right? Because there's 1,000,001 recipes for black bean brownies online. Some of them are really awesome, and some of them are not.
Okay.
So play around with it. You can add, more or less sweetener to it, and you can add. If you wanted to put melted dark chocolate in it, you could add that to it. You could add, I know you can't bring peanut butter or almond butter, but if you did a sun butter or a pumpkin seed butter, you could add that to it to kind of make it rich. Or mashed sweet potato also. So then you're combining the sweet potato, which is going to get it really kind of cakey, and you're adding the black beans in it.
I wonder, would pumpkin work the same way,
Pumpkin would
pumpkin
work.
puree?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
sweet potato is the
yeah.
one thing that we can't use in our house.
Okay.
Oh.
And so usually if I find a sweet potato for a baking kind of recipe, I'm like,
Sub it out.
pumpkin puree
Yeah.
usually
Quite,
kind of.
yeah, for sure.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
because you're looking for that texture, right? That's really what it is. But you're also getting that fiber and that protein and that extra nutrition in with it too. But yeah, pumpkin and chocolate is
Yeah, it's a good combination.
that's a really good
I
combination.
should have brought a piece of paper and a pen.
I was going to say, you are going to share a recipe for this
Yes.
with us,
Yes,
right? That we can
I-
put up in the blog post that goes
Absolutely.
with
It's
this,
not
so-
my recipe, but it's one that I found that is really,
That
really
works.
good. And you can play around with it too. So, whereas the recipe might call for walnuts, if you're sending it to school, add some pumpkin seeds to it or sunflower seeds or
Right.
even, slip some hemp seeds into that. And you can really play around with it. And I think that that's kind of where it all comes down to is when you're going to make a dessert, but you need to kind of jam as much nutrition in it as you can, you got to hide it in there so the kids don't quite see it. So if it means adding an extra cup of dark chocolate chips, then, go for it.
Yeah,
Just to
it's
kinda
better
get them
than
to eat it.
preservatives or whatever
Absolutely.
else, right?
It's better than, like a can of whatever that they're taking, or like a pouch or a packet, you know what I mean? You know what's in it, you've done it. And get them involved. If they don't like pumpkin seeds, don't put them in. Maybe they like cranberries, maybe they like some other types of dried
cranberries.
fruit. Right? And you can do that with like cookies too, breakfast cookies, right? And like the base of a breakfast cookie is just oats and banana. And if you're not egg free, you can throw an egg in it too. But then get your kid involved, what do they like? Get them to pick the ingredients, and then they're making it with you. And, I think kids like that. They like to kind
They
of
do, yeah, definitely.
get involved. And they can go to school and they can brag, I made these.
Yeah. But you're not getting any.
Yeah. No cherries.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so when it comes down to food in the lunches, what do you think for, like, my kids always, can I have a Lunchable? Can I have a Lunchable? When I could make you a Lunchable.
I can see the.
Yeah. Like, I could make you one, and it would be, like, half decent stuff.
Yeah.
So, what are your tips for, I mean, obviously you can't put it in the pretty packaging that the Lunchable's in that gets their attention, right? But Sarah likes, they make a pepperoni pizza one.
Okay.
So what could I do to supplement that?
So, I mean, as much as I'm, like, not for processed meat in any way, there's a good, better, best kind of options that we have out there. We're lucky to live in an area that has so much abundance of local farmers and local producers that have really good quality ingredients. So I would say pop down to the local farmers market if you're a meat eating family and they're adamant to have something like that. There's some really good options that we've got, especially at the Dieppe Farmers Markets, where you can get just like a smaller portion of like a sandwich style deli meat. As far as like a cracker would go, they're really easy to make. And I know people are probably thinking like, I don't have time.
Yeah, crackers, oh my god.
Oh my God.
I'm knowing your definition of easy and mine. Are not the same.
But trust me, you can take like 4 ingredients, throw it in a bowl, mix it up, smear it on a cookie sheet, pop it in the oven, and you've got crackers. So you know what I mean? Like, one that is my go-to, and it literally takes less than 15 minutes to make, is equal parts chia seed, pumpkin seed, sunflower seed, and if your class will allow, sesame seed. So if you've got like a combination of like 1 cup of seeds, it's 1 cup of water. And then let the kid choose the spice. If they like pizza, throw in some oregano. If they like cheesy, throw in some nutritional yeast. Look up spice blends if they like ranch dressing. Like look up the ranch dressing spice, which is I think like chives and parsley and a little bit of dill. Get them involved with that. Mix it all, let it gel. The chia is gonna gel. It soaks up all the water. It makes this awesome gooey jelly paste. Spread it on the cookie sheet and you bake it. And then you just kind of snap it apart, and you've got these awesome, nutrient-dense, fiber-rich, protein-packed crackers that you can throw in with the deli meat,
Wow.
And I'm not a huge fan of dairy.
Yeah.
But, again, if you're going to have dairy in your diet, make sure you source it in a really thoughtful way. Like, we have some dairy farmers and some cheese farmers locally that you can get better quality stuff from. And you can put that in their lunch and
Minus all of the stuff that is put into cheeses and what have you to keep them fresher longer.
Absolutely.
I see, and I didn't realize that at the farmers markets you could get sandwich meat. Like I thought, steaks and roasts and what have you. But yes, okay,
Yeah,
right.
Our daughter, that's one of her favorite things is when her great-grandfather goes to the market in Fredericton and buys this deli meat, and he sends it down for her as a treat, and it's Bobby meat. Like
Bobby meat.
She doesn't know who makes it, but Bobby buys it. It's Bobby meat, and that's her. Can I have Bobby meat for my sandwich?
Wow.
I'm like, okay, yes, we gotta get to Fredericton soon.
Here you go.
To stock up, put some of that in the freezer.
Yeah.
Cool.
But it does. It makes you feel that much better as a parent knowing that it's something local.
Yeah.
And that's something that has been made locally, and
There's no nitrates in it, and there's no, sodium, like not as much sodium in it, and there's none of those colorants in it, and it's less processed. So while, again, I'm not like a huge, hey, eat a bunch of meat, it's better, right? If that's something that you're looking for, it's definitely a better choice for sure.
Especially if you have a picky eater and that is all your kid wants to eat, right? So, it's hard to introduce new things, especially when you send it off to them. Like I do that. My youngest started kindergarten, and I just started throwing stuff in her lunch that she won't eat at home, and she eats it at school.
She's trapped.
She's so hungry by the time it comes to lunch that she's like, I guess I'm eating this burrito. Great, but
Really, because ours still comes home.
I
didn't like those.
Yeah.
Some things he packed them.
Some things have come home. Some things have come home, but she's like, I'm just so hungry. I have to eat it. Good, eat it.
Terrible.
Whatever
But
works.
but it's true.
But and that's
they
not
won't
going to work,
starve, right?
Yeah, well, exactly, and it's not going to work for every parent. I have a friend whose child only eats grilled cheese. That's it. She can't get anything else into her. So I mean, luckily you can take a grilled cheese in a thermos and it stays warm. But at the same time, how would you work more foods and like? Could you sneak something into a grilled cheese without a kid noticing? I don't know if you could.
I don't know, grilled cheese. That
Yeah.
might be kind of tough.
Yeah.
Because it's a pretty classic.
That's
you
like
know
it
what I
really.
mean?
But I wonder if she's tried to make, like when we make grilled cheese, I put like apple slices in it,
Ooh,
and
That would be
and
tasty.
bacon marmalade.
Bacon marmalade.
Yeah.
Oh, I
I
bet
don't even
that's
want to
good.
know what that is.
President's Choice product. Fabulous on grilled cheese.
It actually does. I don't even eat meat, and that sounds fantastic. Yeah,
I don't know if there's really meat in it. I don't know.
it's just bacon
I
flavor.
don't know.
The simulated bacon.
Yeah.
It's probably
I
vegan.
It's probably vegan. Yeah, yeah.
There's probably something out there that is
Yeah.
similar that you could find that would be.
I actually think
But-
someone local makes a bacon jam.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I'm not
off the
sure.
top of my head, but I'm sure.
Someone out
there-
there's going to let us know.
surprise
Yeah, someone is going to let us know that there's
Yeah.
bacon jam. One
Yeah.
time I was talking about missing bacon on the radio, and apparently in Sackville you can get like coconut bacon.
Yes.
And, like,
Yes.
yeah.
Ooh.
Yes.
I know, and I have yet to
I'm
go
in the
down and try it.
process of learning how
Are
to
you?
make it.
Damn,
Coconut
excellent.
bacon.
Yeah.
Some faux cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, to tell you the truth, I don't like any vegan cheese.
No.
So it's that's a major. I miss cheese.
But see,
If you're
there's
listening, cheese, I miss you.
certain types of vegan cheese that aren't bad.
Right.
Like
I'm sure.
if you make it, right? Like out of cashews.
Okay, you're talking
or
too much here
almonds
now.
or-
Like, gotta make crackers
There
and
are
now I gotta
people
make
who
cheese.
and
I don't
you can
know.
buy it as a treat.
Yeah.
You can just let me make it for you.
Okay. That
But
sounds
if you
good.
even do like when you're making, so if you're going to put it in a grilled cheese sandwich, you're not looking for that same texture you would normally
Right.
look from in a cheese.
Yeah.
So you can probably get away with a little bit more of a faux cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you had some kind of marmalade or fruit, something to go with
Something
it,
to
right?
kind of
Yeah.
Spice it up in a way. Yeah.
trick them.
Trick them. Well, that's the thing. That's the most
Well, I
important
thought we
part
were
of
talking
being a
about tricking
parent.
Tosh now.
Oh.
We are. Yeah. I'm not a picky eater though. If we're talking about ways to trick our kids, that's one of the most big things about being a parent, right?
challenge.
Blackmail and tricking them.
Yeah.
So
starving them out.
what are other ways? You, I know, with Nirvana Nutrition, make one heck of an amazing sweet potato pudding
Yes.
that both my kids have loved for years, and they would never know
You wouldn't
that it's
know. Yeah.
no, it's so good.
Yeah.
What will you give that recipe to share as well, or just tell people to come buy it from you?
Just get buy it for me.
See the look on her face change. No.
No.
Yeah.
That was
But
not
again,
necessary.
you know what? There's a million recipes for
Yes.
sweet potato chocolate puddings and different variations online. Like if you Google it, you'll find something that your kid is gonna like, right?
So now I'm like, now I'm going to have to go Google and see if someone's done like a pumpkin pudding.
Oh, I'm
There's
sure.
gotta be,
There
yeah.
must
I'm
be.
sure.
There must be.
And I never would
Yeah.
have thought to look for such a thing. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure someone has done a pumpkin spice version
Oh,
of
you know
everything,
it.
right?
You know it. Yeah.
Huh.
Okay. What about? I've seen one for like chia pudding.
Yeah.
But does it have the, chia seeds
Yes.
have that texture? Can
I'm
you blend
glad
that
you
out of it?
asked. Okay, so chia pudding has a very slimy, weird.
Like those orbit bubbles.
Yeah.
Remember orbit drinks?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they had
Which
the
in some
floaty
ways might
bubbles in
work
it.
in your favor with kids.
It's
sometimes.
true.
Well, if you're a texture person, like I'm a big texture person. So recently I've started experimenting with chia pudding because the health benefits of chia seeds are just ridiculous. Like they're super high in omega-3, they're super high in fiber, they're a complete protein, like they're high in calcium, so get rid of the dairy, eat chia seeds. You know what I mean? Like there's so many benefits to chia seeds. And I eat chia seeds every day in a chia lemonade, but I was really kind of like thinking about what would be kid friendly, so I started experimenting myself. So I've gone through a lot of chia seeds over the last couple of months. And when you follow a lot of the recipes online, my personal experience is that it gets really thick and it gets really like slimy and the texture is really gross. So I had to throw it all out. So what I started doing, and I found it actually works a lot better, is just put in less chia seeds.
Okay.
So I make a chia seed parfait that I sell at the market that I think is just beautiful because it's not slimy, it doesn't have that thick, pasty texture. It's really balanced. So what I would recommend is if you're going to start as a kid, like getting them on it, because it would be a great snack for them to have at school. Like it would keep them full, it would not crash their blood sugar, it would just be amazing. Is just, if it calls for a half a cup of chia seeds, just start with 2 tablespoons of chia seeds and let it set and check it out and get the kid to taste it. Do you like this texture? Is it too watery? Do you want it a little bit thicker? And then add a tablespoon more and give it a stir. Now keep in mind you have to give it some time to set, like give it about 2 hours for it to absorb everything. But less is more, in my opinion, when it comes to chia seeds.
Okay, that's good to know.
And something like a chia pudding, if you make it on Sunday when you have the time to let it sit and taste test and figure out, how long is it going to be good for? Like, how far into the week am I going to get
You're going to be good till Friday. If
Excellent.
you make,
That's what I wanted to
get.
Yeah.
So that was what I wanted to say was if you make like a bowl of it, you can pre-portion it out for your kids, put it in the fridge, and every day, here you go.
Just put a little cup of it in. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
Whatever's best. But yeah, it'll definitely last until Friday for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome.
Awesome.
And I wonder too, is it something that you could like, can you make like a plain base version of it and add different things throughout the week? Would that work to like?
Yeah.
Because I
add different flavors.
I know like my kids kind of like, oh, that again, right? Like, and they probably get that from me. Like we have leftovers in the fridge, and I bypass them to make something else.
You're not the only one that does that.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure. So like, Monday could be dark chocolate chips. Tuesday could be fresh fruit, like fresh blueberries or fresh, like whatever fruit you have in the house. Wednesday could be apples and cinnamon. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Right? Right?
Yeah. I love
Excellent. Okay, so we're going to put some recipes up.
Yeah.
So that parents can get some ideas of some things that they can help make their kids' lunches a little bit healthier and hopefully sneak some of these things into their picky eaters' lunches.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm going to make an effort. I'm putting it out here publicly that someday soon I'm going to try some of these, and I'll let you know how I do it.
Okay. All right. I think that sounds like a deal.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Perfect. So we've mentioned the Dieppe Market, and that's where people can find you on Saturday mornings. Where else can people find Nirvana Nutrition?
Currently, they are selling some of my goods at Pomona Raw Fusion in Bucktush.
Oh, cool.
So right on Irving Boulevard. It's an awesome vegan smoothie bar. You can get lattes. You can get kombucha floats, which is the best thing I've ever had. She makes homemade vegan ice cream, and it's amazing. Some of my items are for sale at the Simply for Life in Riverview, as well as Simply for Life in Dieppe. And soon, I'm hoping, there's going to be some other places around Moncton that will be carrying a few of my items.
And they can find you online to follow along?
Absolutely. So I'm on Instagram at Nirvana_Nutrition and on Facebook Nirvana Nutrition or at Nirvana Nutrition 1.
Perfect. Excellent. Well, thank you for coming again. We love having you here.
I love being here.
Now I'm hungry and finally a little bit more motivated to try again.
And that's it. Like, parents kind of need the motivation, too, to get back into school as well. So,
So, if you're watching, if you're listening, you try something, send us a photo to keep me motivated and to keep me on track to try this myself, because I need the help. Please.
Thanks for watching and listening. We'll see you next time.